It's such a voyage for the viewers. How is it for you to be on those locations?
It was amazing. I mean, we shot in two very different but equally exciting places for me. I'd never spent any time in Belfast, so we shot all of the stuff for London and the English countryside in and around Belfast, and then went to Colombia, northern Colombia on the borders of Venezuela and Colombia to shoot the jungle section. And it was amazing being in the rainforest. It was, as you've seen in the film, just absolutely gorgeous terrain and really exciting to be somewhere that was just so teeming with life. I mean, the smells and sounds and the whole feel of that place is so vital and alive that it's great. I mean, most of us live in cities and, have, experience with nature as a park with a tree with 3 birds in it. But this was like everywhere you looked, it just teeming with life. So it's exciting. Beautiful.
I'm sure you get closer with the rest of the cast as well, no? How was it working, being there with like Rob and all that?
There was an element that was really important with Percy Fawcett, the man that I was playing in this film. He was a very solitary figure who, whenever possible, would isolate himself, and I have a tendency to do that myself. And because it was the nature of the character I was playing, I felt valid in doing that in this time. Normally I try to force myself to be a bit social and engage in the sort of the family atmosphere of filmmaking. But on this, because it was so acutely the nature of the character I was playing, I just indulged it to the fullest and didn't talk to anyone or interact with anyone other than on screen.
Nice, just you and the nature.
Just
I
me
love
and nature.
actually the last scene. I don't want to reveal too much, but when he sort of goes back to like what's worth, in life. Basically, did you enjoy it, or do you have a favorite scene?
I mean, all of the stuff in the jungle was it's hard to say. It was really a wonderful experience for me making this film. I loved working with Sienna, so some of those scenes shooting with her were a real highlight. But just in terms of experience, all of the stuff in the jungle was so vivid and immediate. I mean, Robert said it. We did a press conference earlier, and he said, how did he prepare day to day for the scenes in the jungle? And he said, it's such an immediate environment that it really didn't require any preparation. We were just existing in that place, and the natural challenges that would present would become the focus of the scenes, because we were trying to figure out how to row a raft down a river or how to stop the raft when the current took us, so we didn't go, 50 feet beyond where we were supposed to stop. And those sort of just basic challenges became so vital, and we would just forget that there was a camera, and for a minute we would feel like we were on our own exposition.
And how did you feel about the involvement of Brad Pitt on this production? Did you get to...
Well, I have been fortunate enough. Brad Pitt's company Plan B were behind producing this. And so I've been fortunate enough to work with Plan B for several years, and it was through my relationship with them. I worked with them as a producer capacity. They've been co-producing a few projects that I found and have been developing, and so Brad's been a producer on those projects. So I'd known Brad and known that company very well for many years. But it was it's always an honor to be offered to collaborate and work with people that you have an enormous amount of respect and admiration for. And I really, I think Brad's fantastic, both as an actor and a producer. So I was very sort of honored to be chosen. And they felt like big shoes to fill, because I don't know if you know or not, but Brad had developed this at Plan B for himself to star in. And so of all the people, when the film started to be seen, I was sort of nervous about him seeing it, because obviously he'd spent an enormous amount of time planning to play this character himself. But he wrote me a really lovely email and said that he had, very much enjoyed the work that I had done in it. So I felt it was a big compliment.
Awesome. I have to wrap up, but just gearing up to the Oscars, do you have any favorite movies this year that you saw? Or...
You know what? I don't really follow the Oscars, so I don't really know what's been nominated. I assume my two favorite films this year, excuse me, were Lion and Moonlight. So I think maybe both of those got nominated. So
Yeah, they both had nominations.
yeah, I mean, I thought there were elements of Moonlight that were just spectacular, and the you know, in the storytelling and the respect that they showed for the audience, in the restraint of information given. You know, I thought was really in the structure of that film, and then with Lion, that first 45 minutes with the kid, I just thought was some of the most beautiful filmmaking I'd seen in a long time. So hopefully, you know, and it's good, you know, it's exciting that smaller, really intimate films about multi-dimensional human beings as opposed to like big spectacle are being recognized at that level. I think it's really exciting and speaks to a hunger that audiences have for more substantial filmmaking, which I hope that we find ourselves in that category too, not being nominated for an Oscar or anything like that, but for being sort of recognized for, you know, that we can get an audience, because this isn't special effects driven or sort of modern sensational filmmaking. This is a return to like classic epic adventure, you know, and stories, intimate stories centered around people's feelings and emotions rather than archetypal characters. So hopefully, you know, we can benefit from a little bit of the appetite that's been created by films like Moonlight and Lion.